Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking and kind of walking you through exactly what I have on my wall, my beautiful pressure washing setup. I'm going to talk you through some of the specs, why I did kind of what I did, and kind of how it's all pieced together. So this is part of obviously a greater vision for me in terms of the content. I'm going to start rolling out videos and kind of special pieces on equipment. I've got a stack of media kind of ideas. It's literally about this big on literally Billy Basics all the way up to something like this. So let's get rolling with it. All right, so as you can see, pressure washer is on a wall. Now, how is this achieved and how is this kind of a benefit to people? So I get this out there first in the video. One day, this package, and there's a lot of people already in emails talking to me about this, but one day this as a package will be available for you to buy, either what you see is what you get type of thing here, or you can get it a la carte, because of course a lot of our very good clients have already pieced together probably 95% of all this stuff anyway, and they will just need the odd connection or the odd hose here and there. So now that's out the way. Again, the dream for me here is anyway, in this specific room, everything that you see and touch and smell and visualize, everything hopefully one day will be for sale. Not this physical stuff, but I'm talking about as in new stuff, and you can basically go on the website. You've got a 5x5 garage or a 30 million by 30 million garage. Obviously there's different levels to this game, and you'll say I want one of them, all that type of stuff. I'm going to make this statement, probably I'm 100% right on this. 100% of people who have viewed this video, who are viewing this video, and in the future who will view this video, have some point in their life, have started at the entry point. So whether it be a Nilfisker, Karcher, Bosch, hundreds of rebrands of other kind of pressure washers, you've all started at a basic level. There's nothing wrong with you, okay? Let's be honest, you're either miseducated in that point, or you can't afford a more expensive system. Let's be honest, there was nothing wrong with that. I was in that position as well. So started with my dad's Kranzle K2, moved on to K4, probably about 7 of those. They kept imploding on themselves 6 to 12 months, give or take, whichever one I did. Enough was enough. I probably, in terms of those machines, I probably spent 3 times what I could have spent on this, on just replacements every single time. So, as you probably see in my previous videos, my first ever venture into the Kranzle game is, it was the 1152 in our old place, our HQ number 1, okay? So that's where I started it in my version, kind of, of moving into the kind of range. My mind was blown, okay? And that's where I started customizing the pressure washer packages. As you've seen those videos, there was a lot of trial and error. Even though it's already been done before, I wanted to see, can it be done with, say, other fittings, other style of fittings, and you've seen me struggling with all that type of stuff. I could have chose the easy route, but no, I tried to kind of do something different. So 1152 was my first venture, and then the K10. Now, this is a K10. The K10, 1152, basically, in layman's terms, same engine, same pump, delivers 10 liters a minute, absolutely stunning, right? And then this kind of materialized. So, a wall-mounted system, nobody ever needs one, but everybody wants one, right? For probably the most important benefit, right? You do not have to move the machine. I never have to touch this ever again, apart from when I unclip it from my safety parameters, and I service it here on that bench over there, okay? But apart from that, I don't touch it. So I'm going to talk you through from the start exactly kind of what I've done with this, because this is a complete custom install solution, all right? So in fact, this wall, right, it didn't exist. This was just like a pure square kind of space. So we've built the wall out, one, to mount again, it's funny to see this now, but a lot of people using this wall, but I was the first person within this sector anyway, to use this style walling. Now we use this, if you remember version 1 HQ, this was kind of our whole layout. Now here, I didn't really need to have it. I could have just been boring and put like a stainless steel shaft like everybody else is doing, but obviously they've got no flair or no class. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to add a little bit of color to the wall. Now this is a complete modular system. I can literally put 11 shelves, one shelf, whatever it may be. So I built the wall out, and now my plumbing team, this was really interesting, had a bit of a hard time because some stuff is European here, some of it is American, so GHT to 3/4, different threads, absolute nightmare, all right? And I believe in this system, in all the OEM parts that I use, the real parts, and not like a mishmash of manufacturers, this, in the European market, with this threading system, has not actually yet been done. This is why it was so hard for us. I mean, I must have bought 60 fittings for the inlet, didn't work. We actually, at one point, wanted to fuse, like literally together. I said, look, this ain't working. For some reason, let's just fuse the bloody thing together, as in hard tap it in, especially behind this tap. I said, Nick, you know, we can, and it was a great idea for them because they were getting really sick of doing this. But they said, you know, if you ever need to do anything, like you need to take a saw to it. It was no good. So, first of all, I'm going to talk about the inlet. So, if you didn't know this already, this is a hard plume system. If you didn't know, you now know. So we've got obviously water running on 2 floors of this facility, all sorts kind of, you know, of different piping and going to different locations. So there's actually a pipe that is going over there for the exterior tap. So we kind of Y-split it off there into here. So we drilled through the wall. We then put the inlet of the water here. So right now, these are obviously currently closed, but usually on 90% of the jobs that you do, you know, wheels, pre-wash, all that type of stuff, I'm just using normal kind of tap water. Now, the water where we are, not too bad. Is it the best? No. Is it the worst? No. So somewhere in the middle, and that's where usually 80% of the UK is. Everyone says they've got hard water. It's usually somewhere in the middle, unless you're living in an extreme case. Now, usually this, obviously, through the one thing I do have is extremely good water pressure. So it goes from here all the way up through our kind of pipes into the metal inlet kind of hosing, direct into the pressure washer. Obviously, I'll talk about where it goes after that. But if I want to kind of do a final rinse, if I'm doing something where the sun's peaked out, all I've got to do is close the first shutoff valve here, so water stops. I open these two and it bypasses it from right to left and all there. Now, this again, this was a custom build. Now, I could have gone to one of the existing companies again and gone through, just for fairness of this, I won't mention their brands, but you all know it, all the big blue tanks over in the US. I could have gotten that. It was an easy solution. Now, I wanted something that, one, is fitting in with my decor. I didn't want just random blue stuff for no reason. Now, there's nothing wrong with blue. I just prefer black. So we approached our manufacturer and we said, look, we want it, obviously, fully in black, custom inlet, custom outlet. Now, this is where it got tricky. My piping work is a 3/4, okay? Now, these systems, if you just go onto the general black market, grey market, they've either got plastic inlets, which is a no-no because this full system is metal, or they've got completely different threads. So they've got like 1-inch inlets, 1/2-inch inlets, whatever it may be. So at that point, you've got to start either doing expanders or reducers into it. And most reducers are plastic, some are metal, brass. So it was going to be a full headache onto how do I get my piping, which is, you know, one of the original and one of the oldest kind of true Italian manufacturers, into something that I'm going to have to reduce. So this is where I said this is a custom build job. So there's not many people who do black. Again, more people started doing black now, which is quite funny. But this has been here for now 1.5 years. It was in development for another year, 1.5 years. So it's a 3-year thing. Back then, not many people were doing black. Now it's cool, you know, but I'll take the credit for that one. One of the very few times I'm not going to cause that argument. So it was black, Custom inlets, 3/4, 3/4, managed to get it into the 3/4 of this, easy. Now the piping work, again, it could be made to any shape, any form. This is the most aesthetic that we could get it. This was laser aligned, and we tried to get it as square as we could. Obviously here, it'd be cool if you could do another inlet pipe up there, but you can't. So this is the most aesthetic kind of lowercase h that I could make. And then obviously the water can go either through the bypass, get 0 ppm tested, 0 ppm, which is basically 0 parts per million, which qualifies for pure rinse-free water. These tanks, they can be depressurized. I can have an electronic TDS meter here, which I can read, obviously, where we're at. This will be able to tell me if my resin is due a change or not. And that is obviously the resin systems that feed my pressure washer. Now, just before I continue, I do realize this is not everybody's flavor video, but I don't really care. I want to document this for the people who do find it actually quite interesting. I find it interesting anyway, up to a certain degree. And obviously I know that there's people like me out there, probably a lot more people that are anal than me. So obviously water goes up. Now this is exactly the same spec inlet hose as the same as the hose that I used to fill my buckets. I'll get onto that in a second. Now, again, a bit of a drama here. Not too much really. We found actually a union that can actually fit directly in, no reducers. I'm basically trying to reduce the in-between male to male or female to female connections where I could. One, it increases cost. For me, really doesn't matter if it increases cost by 20, 100 quid, something like that. But when you're thinking potentially of retail, if it doesn't need to be there and you could do a direct connection, one, it's safer, no leaks or less chance of a leak. And two, why ship 57 different fittings when you could just ship one? So that goes directly in there. Now this, again, a bit of a interesting one. So we went from many different elbows, American, Italian, all that type of stuff. This is now an Italian 304 stainless going into an Italian coupler onto the Kranzle. So I quick released a Kranzle pump, yes. So that's the water going in. Usually you're thinking, right, where does the water go? It goes through the pump, it gets pressurized outwards, and that's where usually you have your hose here, your OEM hose. Instead, we quick released this part as well. We went through our KobraJet official whip line onto an MTM reel, which I'll get to in a second, and it comes out at a 30 meter smooth jacket KobraJet hose. Now I started with a 15 wasn't too good for me. It was perfect, but just, I mean, this place is quite big. So I mean, the car park itself is like 50 meters long. From here, it's another 5-10 meters to there. So if I'm parking a little bit further away, again, 15 meter was a little bit of friction for me, so I just changed it to a 30. I do have now a used 15 meter KobraJet. If anybody wants it cheap, let me know. So that's that. When I said I'm going to get back to the hose reel, I'm going to get back to it now. Now this hose reel I inverted, all right? So usually it should be over there, but that was just going to mean it was going to extend my KobraJet a little bit longer, which I didn't want to. So I inverted the actual reel, so the handle is actually in reverse. But it's actually all right because I'm left-hand leading anyway, like I use my left hand for most things. So when I'm reeling it up, my stronger side's my left. So when I do this and I pinch the hose and I dry it and obviously make fantastic art folding it or reeling it, yeah, so I kind of improvised on the spot to kind of do what needs to be done. Now, the reel itself, the reel is great. Is it the best reel in the world? Absolutely not. The reason for that is the version 2 reel packages that we are currently in the process of rolling out, the reel that we have decided to come and get from the US, that company is a little bit slow to reply to us. That is just kind of what they're renowned for. So I am currently chasing that version 2, version 3, hopefully in the future with something that we've got in the works. Right now as we speak from the US, they're just a little bit slow on emails. I'm going to use a PC term there. So again, so far, black reel, It's done its job so far, but I've got something better incoming. Now, going onto the shelf, again, I could have been boring, and I could have got a, one of them, I don't know the specific spec of it, but the ones where you've got the handles, or the legs under the wall. Didn't want that. I want a true floating shelf. Now, this wall was pre-braced because I knew I was going to do this, because again, this is a heavy machine. Now, this wall, true stainless, floating wall. I forgot what I was talking about there. However, now this is 316 stainless. Again, didn't need to be done, but the guy said, look, it's slightly better if you do it. So it's completely stainless, but the real cool thing about this, it can actually slide on and off, which means obviously I'm not going to do that now because there's a pressure washer on here, but you can take it on and off to give it some cleans, all that type of stuff. But also what this has got, this shelf itself was, as you could tell, was actually custom built because again, to have, if you could see that, it's got really nice, cool white, like on the blue hue. I told this guy, he was an old fella, and I said, look, I know you're going to give me probably some LED light and just call it that. However, I actually told him I want a blue hue, this temperature, this CRI light. I know a little bit about lighting. I am not a lighting expert, but I know enough to know what I want. So he actually, he actually sourced a special light for this, which was even more custom because this shelf with the light is handmade. As it is, it was even more handmade when we started chasing kind of different spec lighting. So this has got a cool little light. Is it giving me any performance difference? Absolutely not. It gives it just a little bit of an aesthetic boost. Obviously, you never use this with the lights off, so it's not like it lights up the pressure washer. I just think it looks quite cool. So we've hardwired this through the walls. So the power output is just behind here somewhere. So that's hardwired. I can turn it on and off. And then I've done a custom install of my very cool, I mean, these are quite expensive face sockets. It's got, I mean, I bought these in bulk because I was putting them everywhere. So I thought, you know what, I've got a couple of spare. I'm going to just slap this on here. I should have probably put a cheapy one on. It's got USB extra fast charging ports, 2 of them, 2 3-pin plugs. I never used this kind of plug, but I think it looks quite cool. There's just a bit of a black contrast. And if you are literate in pressure washing charging cables, power cables, you'll know that the one on a Kranzle is extremely long. So what we then did is we removed the actual head unit of this. We chopped all the wires out. Again, I've completely ruined my warranty. Please don't do this unless you're prepared to buy a new one or you know what you're doing with electrics. We completely chopped it. So now this is a custom kind of length. It's not hanging down and it's like a dirty setup. This is, you know, quite clean. It's looking nice. Boom. That's it. So all I'm ever going to do in the future, I pre-prime my pump, obviously water first. It goes all the way into there. I depressurize, I purge the hose if there's any air in there. And all I ever do is I turn this on, boom. I never adjust the pressure because I'm on full PSI, full power on the Kranzle. And I've got a custom orifice system on my very, very beautiful half Swiss, half Italian gun and lance kit. Now, that's a different video as to why I've done that with the kind of custom larger orifices, but I will explain that on this video. I just wanted to kind of showcase to you exactly what we've done with the pressure washer. Now, that's pretty much it. I think this is just as good as the system gets. Everything here is pretty much custom. I'm super proud of this one actually because I was venturing into the world of manufacturing of resin, casings and metal parts that I actually had zero idea about, and I must have gone through 30, 40 factories, give or take, until I found the one that actually understood my lingo and said, okay sir, I'm going to give you something very nice. So I'm actually really proud of that one. And it's custom kind of inlet threads, which again, for a business of our size, who isn't just a specialist in, say, resin, I think it's quite a big achievement for me because a lot of people wouldn't deal with me because, again, I'm not that kind of specialist. And then, of course, I've got my full quick release hose and tap to fill buckets. Now again, this is complete overkill, but I think it's just very, very cool. When I say quick release, there we are. It's completely full quick release. You've got 316 stainless, which again is known for its very, very good pliability. There's a bit of water in the hose here. It's known for other things too, like corrosion resistance against salt, all that type of stuff. So we've PTFE'd the whole connection all the way, and then currently right now I'm in testing with so many different nozzles, and I'm just testing the performance of these things. Now, I bet you've seen this on the wash and shop, but I know you've never seen this before, because this was a piece that I'd made for us. It's got obviously all the quick release plugs going into the couplers. Kelly loves this. I'm thinking, is it too much stainless all in one piece? Now again, this is the King Dingaling. This is the most expensive piece that I could find and get made. But I just think, is it too much silver? I don't know, maybe you tell me in the comments if you like it or not. I've got about 6 different nozzles in here that I'm testing. I've got rubber ones, plastic ones, stuff that I've made look like something that we already have. I'm not going to show you that one. If we do drop that one, that's actually quite a really cool one. I've just expanded one of our current products, and it looks like it, so I think it's quite cool. And then again, the tap, I've just gone for like a burnt bronze tap from the US. Again, this was the one that we were planning on fusing in the backgrounds, because it was just an absolute nightmare. But basically, it's a mixer tap that I can get from boiling water to almost freezing point water and anywhere in between by just mixing it, because this tap is hooked up to our big boiler system, so I can get any type of water that I want. And that, guys, is my cool little pressure washing wall system. Like I said, it's not yet completely finished. I'm not happy with it. I'm always tinkering, taking things off and kind of testing it, but the reel is going to go first. That's going to be kind of the V2. As you know, I'm testing the nozzles. Which one I'm going to go with yet, I can't tell you. I'm just testing performance, see what works, what doesn't. But I think this is quite cool, right? This is my envisaged car garage, all right? I've got my 911 there. I've got a lovely Harley just sat there on the side of the camera, and I've got my AC on right now. I'm on 23 degrees or something like that. So it's like a really cool place to be. And I thought, well, if I'm going to spend a vast majority of my human life, not just business life, I come here on Saturdays, I come here on Sundays, and I'm either chilling out. I've got a lovely, you know, custom 4K TV. It's got OLED technology. It's just a lovely place. And when I'm washing my car, I want to wash it with the best. Now, this video is just to highlight, you know, the steps that I've been working up to, which pressure washers I've used to have in the past, what I want to now. And don't forget, guys, I have been a consumer for such a long time, a lot longer than I have been in business. And I'm still a consumer, okay? So when I'm going to showcase you things and start dropping you things, it comes from here, it comes from the heart. Because if it didn't come from the heart and it came from a simple business sense, as in let's buy something for a penny and sell it for 1.7 million pounds, one, everybody would be doing it if it's that easy, and two, I just do not want you guys to have a bad experience. No matter how big I think I am, I say this to people all the time in the store when they visit HQ. I may think I'm big, but I'm never big enough for a bunch of guys to come in here with baseball bats, theoretically, and say, you lied to me, because that has never yet happened in 5-6 years that we've been doing this, and it will never happen. And this video just, again, it's one of these extra feathers in the cap just to tell you guys that I'm doing this from the heart of a human being that has got so much passion. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it, man. I get so much passion talking about this and pointing you in the right direction. And as some of you know, who obviously watch my videos and support the business, you know that sometimes you ring or email and I do not even sell it. I don't even plan on selling it. And guess what I do? I point you in the right direction of another trusted business that may sell this thing, and I make 0 pennies out of it. So again, that exact example is a passion example more than anything else. So custom or pressure washer, I think if you do want the best, there is cheaper ways of doing this, don't get me wrong, but if you want the 911 of one pressure washers for now and systems and flow rates, I think this is probably right now until the next version comes along is the pinnacle, okay? And when I do start deconstructing the videos and actually telling you what custom orifices I'm running on here and why I'm doing it and actually doing pressure and flow testing to actually say to you, guys, it's not about PSI, it's about flow, it's this, it's that, and I'm going to show you hard facts. I've got equipment there ready to go to connect up to the hose to actually show what I'm seeing, what I'm reading, and exactly why it's better for you. But for now, this is kind of an overview of my cool little happy place in a corner of this room. And yeah, guys, I hope, again, this has been somewhat informative. It's a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. It should have been a little bit shorter, but I get off on tangents, you know. But I hope you found it informative. Hope it's given you a bit of motivation, a little bit of ideas. Let me know what you think in the comments. I always appreciate it. All opinions I take on board. And yeah, I will catch you on many more videos very, very soon. Thank you so much, guys.